This video is brought to you by America First Insight. Help support the growing conservative movement by becoming a member today. And if you want to support this channel, you can also use the code REAL when becoming a member. Thank you and enjoy the video. So I wasn't planning on making this video, but listen, I can't get over the fact that the Democrat Party, they have clearly learned nothing from 2024. And in fact, they're going to double and triple down in the same crap that hasn't worked ever. Now, listen, I'm not saying that this means that Republicans are going to have a red tsunami in 2026. Far from it. But at the same time, this party is so delusional, they're so out of touch that Republicans could actually expand their House majority come 2026. But that's not the point of this video. That might be a separate video down the line. But right now, we have to talk about how the Democrat Party right now is so out of touch and why their strategy is not going to work. I mean, I cannot believe that this is real. Guys, you got crushed in 2024. It would have been far worse if the Republican Party had half a brain. But either way, you still lost a popular vote, you lost the House, you lost the Senate, you lost everything. But for whatever reason, this party is learning nothing. Just look at this tweet right here, and a bunch of Democrats, they agree with this assessment. They think this is exactly what happened. Shortly after Biden dropped out, Harris led Trump by 3 to 4% nationally before collapsing into a Trump popular vote victory. That the Democrat postmortem won't question how the Harris campaign rapidly blew their lead is absurd. It does nobody any good to pretend she couldn't have won. Yeah, this is a real tweet. And basically every single Democrat is agreeing with this. They're saying, yep, that's what happened. Harris collapsed. We were going to win. But at the last second, the orange man surged. Are you kidding me right now? These people have gaslit themselves so much into thinking that Harris was the front runner for the entire time. They really believe it. They really believe this idea that, oh, Harris was going to win. But at the last second, she had this magical collapse. Well, let's start the first part of the tweet, because this can be easily debunked. Just go on the RCP average right now. It's still up. And the most Harris ever led on the RCP average was +2. That was on September 20th, September 21st. She was up by 2%. So even without looking at the rest of the tweet, you can tell it's incorrect. She led by at most 2% in the RCP average. That's it. So even then, they're wrong. She never led by 3 or 4%. Their own point averages on the RCP average, which is much better than 538 was. But either way, the averages, it was +2. It was +2, best case scenario. And even when she first announced, it was +1.5. +1.5, maybe +2 for a day in early September. This ain't +3 or 4%. So already, I have no clue where this guy's getting his numbers from. Just go on the RCP average right now, and you will find that she never led by more than 2. Hell, go on America First Insight. I think the numbers are archived, but it was like Harris +1.5 was the best we ever had her. So yeah, no average had her up by 3 or 4%. But I guarantee you, that's not what he's talking about. He's claiming, oh, the polls had her up by 3 or 4%. That's not true. The average was +2. But when he says all the polls, he's not talking about all of them. He's not talking about the collective average. No. He's talking about polls that he likes. Polls that they call high quality. That's what they're talking about. And you scroll down to the middle of September, and yeah, you did have some Harris +6s, Harris +4, +4, +3, +5. Yeah, those polls existed. But look at who released them. NBC News, Harris +5. Fox News +2. Morning Compost +6. Data for Progress +4. You can't make this up. They're not talking about the average. They're talking about their own pollsters that they call high quality, that at the end of the day sucked. Just an example. Look at the final average. And you had Marist having Harris up by 5. PBS and Harris, they had Harris up by 4 or 5 points. She lost by 1.5. And this was 2 days before the election. And they found Harris plus 4. Well, you scroll down, and their prior poll was Harris plus 2. So, in fact, they found Harris surged at the end. You look at other pollsters like, I don't know, let's look at Ipsos. Ipsos is another shitty pollster. They had Harris winning by 2. She lost by 1.5. Well, Ipsos earlier in September, they're up by 3. So the same polls they're quoting, they were wrong at the end of this election. They were just wrong the entire time. So that's the problem here that these idiots are not understanding. These polls were never correct. And they're not talking about every poll. They're talking about the polls they call high quality. And what they mean by high quality is, it's a Democrat pollster. It has Harris up by 15 points. Yeah, that's high quality. But Rasmussen reports they have Harris down by 2. They're low quality. Well, Rasmussen reports was correct the entire time. These other pollsters, they sucked. But they really believe that these polls are so good. And that's why Harris lost. Harris just collapsed. No, she never led. She never led based on the good polling. The good pollsters, maybe for a couple days in early August and September, maybe they had her up by 0.3%, maybe 1. That's it. After that, it went back to normal. That's what happened. And that happened because response biases occurred, which for months, these same people were saying, you're a conspiracy theorist, you're delusional, Harris is going to win by 15 points. Response biases, they don't exist. Yeah, they do. And for those that don't know, that basically means in the months of August and parts of September, more Democrats were taking these polls than usual. They were so excited that they had Harris as the nominee because Biden was gone that, they're going to take every single poll. And that's why they had Harris up by 5 or 6 points. So you already had a shitty poll like the New York Times and Data for Progress. They already had Harris winning. But when you include the response bias, yeah, that's how you get Harris plus 5, Harris plus 4. It was never real. But these people have convinced themselves, she was up the entire time. In fact, his own tweet confirms what we're saying. He says in his second tweet, Harris came in with boundless goodwill for the media and the public and blew it into being a pure nothing candidate. Status quo when people clearly wanted change. And just like her, Democrats today are still too afraid of making people mad to tell them our unpopular party needs a change. Now, the second part is kind of true. Your party sucks. Right now, it has like a 20% approval rating at best, the best case scenario. But the first half confirms what we've been saying for a year now. These polls were fake. They were built off of a huge response bias of Democrats so excited that Biden was finally gone that, that's why Harris led by 3 or 4 points. So this party, they've learned nothing. Now, it sounds like some of them realize they got to change, but not in the direction you think, like, okay, maybe we got to moderate on some issues, maybe we got to get better on some other stuff. No, they really think, if we triple down and go even more insane on the issues, that's going to win us the election. You can't make this up. You just can't. But okay, this is a Twitter account on Twitter, and listen, you can argue maybe this isn't the Democrat mindset for 2026, and maybe, which it's not, I mean, they really think this crap, but okay, maybe this is a fluke. Maybe Democrats, they have a far better strategy in winning 2026. Well, the Democrat Party has a massive plan to take back the House in 2026. Their entire plan relies on redrawn congressional lines in New York, New Jersey, Minnesota, Washington, and California. If Republicans do the same, and that's what this is about. Basically, states like Texas, and I think Ohio, Missouri, maybe, Indiana, maybe, they may redraw their maps, which will give Republicans like 6 or 7 extra House seats across the board. And that alone, that might be enough to keep the House. Well, Democrats, they're in such a panic that their plan is to redraw congressional lines in New York, New Jersey, Minnesota, basically Democrat states. That's their plan. Well, there are some major problems with this plan. It kind of proves my point that this party has no clue what they're doing. But like, this party, I have no clue what they're trying to accomplish. I don't think they understand how screwed of a situation they really are. Because they think, oh, if we redraw the maps in New York and New Jersey, we can win. Which, yeah, on paper, that seems like common sense. Like, yeah, you redraw the maps in New York and you maybe net 5 extra seats, maybe. Same thing with California. Well, the problem is, they can't. Most of these states, A, they're going to gain nothing from them. Like New Jersey. That map is already gerrymandered to hell. I mean, look at this. This map is so gerrymandered. But these idiots really think, oh, we can gain maybe an extra 2 seats here. No. And legally, I don't think they can. And that's the biggest problem. Ignoring the fact that most of these states, they really can't gain much more. Legally, they can't redraw maps in, say, California. Which, in California, you could theoretically gain like 5 or 6 extra Democrat seats. But the problem is, it's a commission. It's a supposedly independent commission that draws the maps. And I know Gavin Newsom is going to try to change the law, I get that. But the problem is, right now, they technically can't. And at that point, if they're going to redraw a map that hideous, I guarantee you states like Alabama and Mississippi and Louisiana and even Georgia, they may just say, okay, screw you guys, we're going to redraw the maps and net us an extra 5 or 6 House seats. So all you're doing is making things even worse. I mean, the rest of these states, like, maybe New York, but the courts aren't going to allow it. This party is so incompetent that they really think that these maps are all GOP gerrymanders, which they're not in most states. States like California, that's a Democrat gerrymander already. Same thing with New Jersey. But they think they're all gerrymanders, and on top of that, they really think, oh, we're going to be able to redraw the maps everywhere. No, you're not. I don't get what they're doing here. They're so incompetent. They're so desperate that they're trying everything. And they really think that this is their 5D chess move to win 2026. Triple down on the insane crap that's very unpopular and not learn a damn thing from 2024. And try to focus all your efforts on redrawing the maps in New York, in New Jersey, in California, which mostly states, A, you're not going to gain much more anyways, so it's a waste of time, and B, you legally can't. So, is that your plan? Instead of trying to fix your party image, you're going to try to redraw maps everywhere, which I know that's kind of what Republicans are doing, but you could argue that, yeah, Democrats might do this in response, but at the same time, the only reason Republicans are doing any of this is because Democrats in 2021, and 22, and 23, they played games with the maps everywhere. Look at Alabama. Look at Louisiana. If they just stopped playing games everywhere, they drew even a halfway fair map in California, Republicans would not be doing this crap in Texas. But now, it's going to come back and haunt them. It's just kind of funny that this is the party of democracy. This is a party that supposedly cares so much about democracy and fair maps that they're going to try to gerrymander every state even more, which I didn't think was possible, but they really think, oh, we're going to gerrymander California even more. And Democrats, they wanted it. 5 minutes ago, these same people, they were pushing for fair maps. But now they're just saying, oh, we don't want fair maps. No, we want Democrat gerrymanders everywhere. So yeah, this party, they learned nothing from 2024, and it's clear their strategy is garbage, it's incoherent, they have no clue what they're doing, it's just pathetic. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, and of course, join the channel today. Godspeed to all of you.